Hi, good morning. Welcome back. If you're joining me, my name is Leanna, and I am going to continue on posting about my personal journey with low carb, keto slash low carb. Um, I am not a healthcare doctor or any of that. This is just my personal journey. And if anything I say resonates with you or makes you want to start on on taking a leap for your journey, then I hope that that does. And this helps me be accountable to you and to me, because I can be very unaccountable to myself and not take care of myself the way that I should. So that is what this series is all about. It's about taking you on my journey with me. So we are finishing up my second week now. It has been a very, very bumpy 2 weeks. Let me tell you that. I don't feel like I have successfully detoxed myself off sugar quite yet because we've had a few setbacks, but that's okay. I'm going to continue to see if we can detox off the sugar. But I feel like we've had some very successful days, and I feel like given the circumstances of what's going on in my little neck of the world right now, that they've been a successful 2 weeks. So I am filming this on the end of October, so October 28th, filming and posting. And I do live in Maine, so if you have been watching anything in the news regarding Maine, it's been some real troubling times for us right now, which is unusual for this little state. So anyway, but overall, for the past 2 weeks, I am down successfully 5 pounds, which for me, I'm going to call a gigantic win. And so, but I'm not going to be all about the scale because I can't. I've done that before and it doesn't work. I can't be scale focused. That's not what this journey is, and it's not a sprint to the finish line. This is about keeping my body as healthy as it can be. And by trying to mitigate any of my risk factors, because my family I have a long history of being diabetic, and my A1Cs have always been high. Not high enough for them to diagnose me as being a diabetic, but high enough that they're always a concern. And I was gestational with my second child, so this is why I really need to focus on low carb. I am also, not out of the realm of I'm not obviously not opposed to bariatric surgery, since I've had bariatric surgery twice. I've had revisions, and it can be a tool in anyone's toolbox, but it is not the end all to be all. You still have to work really, really hard. So it is not the easy fix that some people say it is. It is definitely not. And regain is definitely something that happens. For whatever reasons, if you fall off track, if you can eat around your diet, whatever happens. So a lot of what we have to do, it's up here. It's the mental game. And this mental game's been happening since I was about 8, probably. So that takes a lot of work. So anyway, how was I successful the past 2 weeks in everything that's been happening? And my family doesn't necessarily eat low carb. Should they? Yeah, we all probably should. But can I create that sort of environment for them right now while I'm focusing on me? I can't. I have to just work on me work on me first, and then I can help other people work on them. But right now I've got to get myself into the best groove and space that I can before I can help anyone else. So one of the things last Sunday I did was huge meal prep, and I am not great about meal prep because for a couple of reasons. My family is not great about eating what they consider leftovers. So meal prep to them is like a leftover, and they're not great about it. Neither am I, because it's like the next day, it's like, not the same. So I had to find ways, alternative ways to create meal preps that were not like meals all themselves. So what I did is I made partial ingredients for meals. This still required the whole preparation of the meal, but it took much less time. And one of them was my family's hands down favorite. My kids love tacos. So I did ground beef. I made a pan of ground beef. I used organic meat because it happened to be on sale, and some sausage. I ground it up and I made ground beef. And I drained it, I put the ground beef just as it was in the fridge. And so for 2 meals during the week, they could have either tacos or they could make it into something else. And it was so easy because it was so easy because my husband or the kids could come home from school. My oldest is 11 and he likes to start making, take out meat to thaw or whatever. So they could just take out the hamburger, put it back into a pan, and then add whatever is needed for a taco. So they did that. So they added taco seasoning and they made tacos one night. And I do get them to eat the low carb wraps because they don't realize that they're low carb and they don't care. So that's a win for this mom. So they made tacos. And then when I came home from work, because usually my very, very busy work days, are Mondays, like Mondays and Tuesdays, are just incredibly busy after the weekend, trying to get in there and clean things up. So I don't usually get home much before 5 or 5:30 on those days. Sometimes later in the week, if I can get things tidied up, I can scoot out a little earlier, but not those days for sure. So sometimes it's even as late as 6 before I arrive home, and then me thinking about dinner becomes very difficult. So it was so great to have that hamburger prepared so they could just take it and start making tacos. So I got home and it was all fixed. There was lettuce, so I made myself a taco bowl. So instead of having it in a wrap, I just threw the lettuce, tomatoes, and some taco meat. And I know there's carbs in the seasoning. I'm not worried about that right now. We will worry about that way down the line if I'm get to that point, but we're just worrying about trying to get rid of the carbs and the simple sugars. So I put the taco meat in the bowl with a little bit of cheese. Perfect. Dinner done. Like I didn't even have to think about it. The kids were all fed. The next thing I did is I did the same thing for like fajitas. I sauteed up the chicken and the onions and peppers, and I put those aside. So I put them separately because my kids do not like onions and peppers, but they'll eat the chicken with cheese in a wrap. So I made everything for fajitas. I put them separately. So fajitas was a meal one night. So they just took it out. They could put the chicken or the chicken and peppers into the wraps with cheese and put it in the oven. Done. So simple. So these were meals to help me be successful, especially on my very busy work nights. And then, there's the occasional, can you pick something up for dinner? Or I don't feel like that. I want to have whatever. And how did I make that work for me personally? Okay. So yes, McDonald's is fast food and not great. And, I'm not going to say here it is, but sometimes you just stop and get it. And how can I make that work for me? Well, this is how I made this work for me this week. The kids wanted McDonald's. And they hadn't had it in a few weeks. And so I said, okay, I'll stop and get it for you. So I stopped and got it, and I was like, how can I make this work for me? Like, what is it about here that I can do something with? And so I decided this time, instead of being totally off track and getting anything I wanted, I grabbed the hamburger. I grabbed like like the Big Mac. I came home and I threw some extra lettuce in a bowl and some tomatoes in the bowl. And then I threw the hamburgers on top of it. I scraped everything off the buns, everything, put it right in the bowl, chopped it up. It was your Big Mac in a bowl. It was so filling, it was fine, and I felt satisfied, and I felt like I didn't need more. And it was my way of satisfying everybody's needs all in one, okay? Or, can we have Chinese for dinner? Okay, another obstacle. How can I how can I do this? Like I looked at the restaurant and they didn't have like where I could get it steamed, and so I want it steamed. So like, you know what? I'm just gonna go with the chicken and the veggies. And when I take it, when I bring it home, I will just pull the stuff out with, I know it'll have some sauce on it. Okay. The sauce has a little sugar in it, but it'll be okay. It will be okay. I'll just do the chicken, the veggies, and we're just going to go with it because we'll give everybody what it is that they want, need for right now. And that's what we did. So that's how I made this week successful for me. The other thing that I'm working very diligently on for myself is going back to eating 3 meals and no snacks. This might not work for everybody, and it's certainly a little harder. You know, I have a little, my stomach capacity is small, but as long as I'm eating a well-balanced meal in that time frame, then I'm getting all of my nutrients in that I can. I'm getting all of my protein, so protein first and then everything else. And it's been working, but going back to those 3 meals, no snacks, so allowing myself to digest that meal. Sometimes snacking is really just out of boredom. It's not out of true hunger. I know it isn't for me. For me, it's generally something else. It's not because I'm truly hungry. And if I am truly hungry, then I need to evaluate what I ate at the last meal. Like if I'm truly, it's a hunger signal, then what did I eat? Did I not eat enough? Did I eat something that was spiking my blood sugar or something of that sort? So going back to that. So these are the things that I've worked on this week and the past 2 weeks to make me where I consider this a very successful week. Now, goals. Goals are important. So I'm going to set goals for myself for this next week, and we are going to baby step into this, because when I dive big, that's failure for me. Some people can just rip the Band-Aid off, and that's great. I rip the Band-Aid off and I just can't. So we're not going to do that. We're baby stepping this in. So goals for this week are going to make sure that I'm eating my 3 meals, and make sure that becomes a real pattern and habit. And then if I feel like I'm not hungry at a meal, we're going to skip it, but we're not there yet. The other thing is I'm going to work on drinking my water and making sure my hydration status is where it should be. Now, sometimes I have a little more difficulty with this than others, but that's a goal for me for this week, is to make sure I'm getting all my water in my beautiful pink cup. And I'm going to try to find and integrate little walking, because I have fallen off the exercise bandwagon. So we're going to do some small walking, whether it be inside or outside. It's still okay in Maine right now to walk outside. You know, it's not cold. I don't like cold. So either inside or outside, we're going to try and log some walking and work on the hydration status. So those are this week's goals for this mom. So again, this is just want to tell everyone, this is my own personal journey. This doesn't have to resonate with anyone, but if it does resonate with you and you want to be part of my journey, and if you want to spark your own journey to health and wellness, then I welcome you to stay here with me and follow along, because that's what this is about. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I will post again soon. Thanks now. Bye-bye.